Okay, I wanted to do this short video because there was a comment under my last video, traffic stop will make you mad. Michael Farah, and I appreciate all of the views that seek to challenge because that's how we grow. So he said saying reasonable articulable suspicion in this context is the right thing to say because despite what we may think, Terry is the law of the land. He's putting the cop on notice with those words. This Terry is the law of the land. We can go back to Marbury versus Madison, and there are some good things in that 1803 case, but one of the takeaways is that any law that is contrary to the Constitution is null and void. Any law that rivals or challenges the Constitution, which is the right to be secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects. And if you're going to challenge the safety of somebody's person, then there has to be not reasonable articulable suspicion, but probable cause, which could also be objective, articulable fact. It's PC is evidence-based and RAS is more like a feeling. But this really unearths something else. He says, edit, according to case law, the cop can't extend the traffic stop for purposes of identifying the passenger, which is also true. But Terry v. Ohio can't be the law of the land if the Constitution is the law of the land, is the takeaway here. It's either the Fourth Amendment or Terry v. Ohio, because it can't be both. They're both contradictory, mutually exclusive. But this unearths a very important thought that we need to consider here is that this alone inherently makes the profession of law enforcement illegitimate. Why? Because they swear to uphold and defend and protect the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the state and Supreme Court cases. You can't do all that without suffering from a severe case of cognitive dissonance. And what is cognitive dissonance? It's trying to hold two mutually exclusive ideas, beliefs, or values at the same time. And you can't do that. So there's this contradiction in your mind. It's basically a psyop. You're psyoping yourself because you're being inconsistent and you're being hypocritical. You can't, it's either Terry v. Ohio is the law of the land or the Constitution is the law of the land. The Fourth Amendment is the law of the land, because it can't be both. And as far as Marbury versus Madison, any law that rivals the Constitution or comes against the Constitution is null and void. One of the things we have to understand from Marbury versus Madison, which is why I'm not for that case, I don't think it doesn't work for us, is because it established the law of judicial review. And what is that? It basically, the Supreme Court with Marbury versus Madison gave themselves the right and the power to interpret what the Constitution says. So basically, it's not the Constitution in the minds of the Supreme Court justices back then and in the minds of the Supreme Court tyrants now. This is me talking as a Supreme Court justice. My interpretation of the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And it's way different from saying the Constitution is the law of the land. They've changed it to, no, it's my interpretation of the Constitution, which is the law of the land. And that's why Terry v. Ohio gets us into trouble. Because when people view Terry v. Ohio as the law of the land, they're actually mentally assenting to and verbalizing a fallacy that was displayed in Marbury versus Madison 1803, which is the law of judicial review. In other words, the interpretation of the Supreme Court justices in Terry v. Ohio trumps the Fourth Amendment. And that's not true. Either the supreme law of the land is the Fourth Amendment or it's Terry v. Ohio. It can't be both. So just to real quickly review, Terry v. Ohio can't be the law of the land, even though the Supreme Court justices said it was, if the Constitution is the law of the land. That's why what needs to really be struck down is Marbury versus Madison. There should be no power of judicial review. In other words, I see what the Constitution says, and I'm going to interpret it for you little peasants. Terry v. Ohio is now the supreme law of the land. Forget about PC. Forget about probable cause. We don't need evidence. We just need feelings. And another thing we need to understand and grasp about Terry v. Ohio is you could literally put in an encapsulated statement what Terry v. Ohio is. What they think, what they want it to be is officer safety trumps individual rights. Officer safety trumps the Fourth Amendment. Officer safety trumps your right to be secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects. In other words, we're going to make you insecure in your person's houses, papers, and effects because we're scared. We feel like we armed bandits feel like you might be armed and interfere with our roadside piracy. So we need to shake you down. We need to stop and frisk. And if you think that's true, if you think Terry v. Ohio is the supreme law of the land above the Constitution of the United States, see, I know this gets really muddy and this gets really cloudy because people have their interpretations and all that kind of stuff. But you either have a right to be secure in your person or you don't. And if you have a right to be secure in your person, and we're going to make that the supreme law of the land, then people have to respect that. And if they don't respect it and they violate it, then they are the ones who are the criminals. And I'm for the Fourth Amendment simply because it speaks to the truth of natural law. It coincides with natural law. The reason we know it coincides with natural law is you just have to ask yourself one question. Do I want to be secure in my person? Yes, you do, or you're a liar or a psychopath. You want to be secure in your person. In other words, you don't want somebody from the outside to violate your rights. So it's greater. This is greater than you have the right to do something or you have the right to be secure. It's more like other people don't have the right to make you insecure. And why? How do we know that they don't have a right to make you insecure? They don't have a right to make you insecure because you don't want to be made insecure. And if you say that other people have the right to make other people insecure, then you're being a hypocrite. And one of the worst things you could possibly be on this planet is a hypocrite. So leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. I really want to hear what you guys have to say about this. First question is Terry v. Ohio the supreme law of the land? Or is the Fourth Amendment the supreme law of the land? Because that's what we're talking about here. Terry v. Ohio versus the Fourth Amendment right to be secure in your person's house, papers, and effects. Third question is, can Terry v. Ohio and the Fourth Amendment consecutively be the supreme law of the land? At the same time, concurrently, can they concurrently be the supreme law of the land? If they can concurrently be the supreme law of the land at the same time, how does that work when RAS is not PC? Terry v. Ohio is not the Fourth Amendment. What would you rather be judged by? Objective, articulable fact or reasonable, articulable suspicion that depends on feelings? This depends on evidence and facts and proof. And this depends on assertions or I feel scared or officer safety is being jeopardized. Therefore, that gives me the just cause to violate your individual rights. Leave your thoughts about this because this is a very interesting topic and I think we need to get to the bottom of it because, yeah, I believe qualified immunity should be taken away. I believe Terry v. Ohio should be overturned, but I also believe Marbury versus Madison, we need to take a strong look at that and eliminate the law of judicial review, which basically gives qualified immunity and exclusive interpreting powers to the powers that shouldn't be. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com, and grab a hard-hitting conversation starting design you can put on a shirt, hoodie, mug, cell phone case, that very cell phone case that you're going to use to record the police. And I will see you guys in the next video.